salty pecans, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Pamela and I'm pretty far, but today we are doing my plant of the month for the month of May 2022. And of course, the baby I am featuring is seriously attention seeking, and it cannot keep itself out of the frame, and it is none other than my money tree, my Pachira Aquatica. So obviously after the intro, I'm going to give you all a better look at this baby. My cats are running and fighting, so I don't know what their problem is, but yes, this baby I've had for quite a long time. But before we get into the video, make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Follow me here. Make sure also hitting the notification bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. You know, YouTube is really funny when it comes to letting my salty peeps know when I upload. So by doing that, you are ensured that I am, you know, posting and I'm uploading. And also follow me on my other social media platforms, networks at HauzPlant, of course, HauzPlant. And with that being said, let's get into the intro. So welcome back, everybody. All right, I'm going to try to pick this plant up and move this whole plant into frame. So this is my money tree, as you all can see. No, let's get with it. All right, so this is my money tree, my Pachira Aquatica, and as you all can see, it's pretty large. If I put it on the floor directly, it's giving me about like a little bit above waist length, and if I stand the plant tall, it's hitting almost my boobs. And for tax, I am 5'6", right? So I think we're like 170 something centimeters, meters, I don't know what non-feet, you know, measurers use. But this is my money tree. Oh, and let me just pick it up for you so you all can get an up close and personal look at this beauty. Pretty thick, lush green, very happy. And I also decided to adorn it with a couple of things. I am like that person that's really annoying, and I just put a whole bunch of stuff in the planter itself. So the first thing that I do have here is this copper and a crystal trellis that my girl Monica at Plant Witch SFC, she gifted this to me a few years ago, and I actually used it for another plant, and I decided to actually help my money tree, like just give it a little bit more just aesthetically pleasing look, and also give it a little bit more of like stability and help it just do its thing. That's what I tell myself, okay? But I don't really think it's really doing any of that. But I also, in here, I have these fire rocks, these fire stones that I got in Haiti. There's a ball. There's a couple of shells of different kinds in here. And there's live coral, a couple more rocks, and that's it. So those are all the things I have adorning this planter, and this plant is so amazing. So I believe, my gosh, I might have picked this money tree up probably in the year 2013, maybe 2012, maybe 2011. I don't remember exactly which year I picked this plant up, but I got it at the 99-cent store for $1 or $1 and some change. And originally when I purchased this plant, I think it had a total of 5 just braids. and 2 of the braids were pretty much like, you know, dying, decaying. And as you can see, this is one of the ones that, you know, was not viable. But I told myself, I love it, I want one. I wanted a money tree for so long, so let me bring it back to life. And this plant has just been so good to me ever since. One thing I really love about the money tree is as it ages, it really does turn into like a barky tree-ish situation, and the newer, fresher stems are just so lush and green. And I love how large the leaves get on this plant. So this is definitely a summer leaf because it's so large, right? So I wanted to come on here to do a quick little mini video. I'm gonna repot, well, not really repot, but just switch, you know, these 2 pots from one another. I have this cocoa core. Of course, always repot your plants when they're dry. So as you can see, this is the only amount of soil this tree has had for some time, and it definitely needs the size upgrade compared to the smaller succulent, which can benefit from the smaller pot anyways. So yep, gonna repot them and show you guys the final new product. Not sure if you can see, but the gathering of the roots, it definitely needed. Definitely, as you can see, this mega sized one right there. Yeah, you need the bigger size pot anyways. Edge. And then that's really it. Then I'm gonna add the soil, and yeah, I have a variety of like different size rocks. So right, back in its little home, and you can go back up here. This baby, on the other hand, definitely needs to be repotted. So that's the quick backstory on this plant. And let's get into the watering, the care, and the lighting that I provide this plant. So the first thing first is in regards to soil. So I find that my money tree likes a drier soil. Compared to last month's plant of the month, which was my Scindapsus pictus jade satin, that plant loves a moist soil. It doesn't like to dry out. It does not like any of that. But my money tree is complete opposite of the spectrum. My money tree does not like to be overwatered. My money tree does not like to be given too much attention. My money tree just wants to do its thing, right, and not have me fuss it, right? So this plant, throughout the whole entire year, it lives at my northeast window. So I have it on a plant stand right now because it's tall enough that I no longer have to have it sit on my windowsill. I have this stand on the floor, and when it's on the floor, the foliage, you know, is like, let me show you. So this is another window. So if you imagine, right, this is the sort of light that it's getting. So the leaves, let me pan you down, right? So the leaves get all of this light from the windows, right? So the plant gets perfect amount of light the way it is positioned in front of the window, and the top of the foliage, as you know, it grows, continues to grow up because there's plenty of window space, window light that's hitting it. So that's why I have it in this sort of housing. So that's in regards to where it's placed. I also want to add in that this plant lives near an active radiator during the winter months. So it's right by the radiator in the other room that this plant actually lives in. And it gets, honestly, that dry, hot air for a few months throughout the winter season. So the soil mix, is very barky, very full of perlite, very full of it's soily and that jazz. So I don't have it in anything that's mossy, peaty. I don't have it in none of those moisture loving, moisture retaining substrate. I have it in just soil, perlite, maybe a little bit of sand, orchid bark, and I just leave it like that. I don't overwater it, and I don't need to overwater it. So now we're talking about watering. I honestly do not have a specific watering schedule for this plant. Honestly, err on the side of caution. So I noticed throughout my years, honestly, almost a decade of owning this plant, I noticed that overwatering does not fit with this plant. So I might water it in the winter, maybe like once a month. And to also keep in mind, I mentioned it lives at my northeast facing window, and all of my windows that are in like certain rooms have a New York radiator next to it. So this plant lives literally right by the radiator, so it gets really dry and really hot near the winter times, and during the summertime it's getting that hot ambient sunlight from the window. So honestly, if you want to provide this plant the care that it really wants, so if you're seeing, oh, your money tree is not happy, your money tree is constantly losing foliage, you might be overwatering it and you might be providing it not enough sunlight. If this plant could seriously live somewhere, I would never place it outside, because I know the foliage will get scorched and burned, but it really wants as bright indirect light as you could possibly provide this plant. So literally on the window pane, this plant will live and will be happy. But don't put it on the window pane, because you get like a little bit of scorching, a little bit of like leaf burn. You don't want any of that. So just be mindful of the zone that you're living in, the area that you're living in, the windows that you're trying to place this plant at, because this plant, again, loves plenty of sunlight. It likes to be a little bit on the drier side, and it likes a more of a well-draining substrate. It doesn't want anything that's moisture retaining, moisture loving. In regards to fertilization, I personally do not have a specific fertilizing routine for my plants. I honestly just fertilize my plants as I go. Sometimes I don't fertilize them, sometimes I do. And also in regards to fertilizing, don't over fertilize your plants, because it could cause like root burn. So it's better to err again on the side of under fertilizing and maybe even a little bit of underwatering versus over fertilizing and overwatering for this plant in particular. So whenever I decide to water all of my plants and fertilize them, this is when this plant will get the fertilization that I'm giving everybody else. But other than that, I'm not like, this month, twice a month in the summertime growing season. No, I don't really do that. But if you want to be that diligent plant parent, you want to be on top of it, of course, do what works for you. But I'm just letting you know what works for me and my plant. So another awesome thing about this plant is that a couple of years ago, I actually accidentally snapped this plant, and I was able to tape it together with tape. And as soon as it snapped, I kind of panicked, right? I'm like, oh my gosh. So while it was still like oozing and gooing, I literally picked up like regular Scotch tape, and I put together the top piece and the bottom piece, and I just taped it and I kept it pushing. The plant fused back together.
I still don't see how you glued your hat on, Harry. I mean, I know you say you didn't, but obviously you did.
I did not glue my hat to my head. The hat shrunk, the fibers fused to my hair.
Right, in Mr. Wormwood voice, it fused together and it continued to grow. So that's also another awesome thing about this plant. So I think that's all I really do want to mention in regards to the watering, the lighting, the substrate, and the fertilization. Those are the main things that you really need to think about. And of course, the biggest thing that you can just provide your plants is love and patience. Just be patient with your plants, because these plants in the wild, they do their thing, but remember, we're keeping them indoors. They're not in the most ideal environment. They're not in their native environment. So just be patient with your plants and just be cautious. Look at your plants. Know what you want your plants to look like, and also know what you're expecting your plants to look like. So this plant is always growing, always pushing out new growth. So I only have 3 branches, right? 3 full individual plants on here, and each one is actually putting out new growth. So this is the smallest plant, new growth. This is the second smallest plant's newest leaf, and it's pushing out, let me show you if you can see. It's pushing out some new foliage here. It's really happy about that. And the biggest one just pushed out this beauty here, and it's ready to push out some more. So I'm really excited to see how large this plant is going to get in the year 2022 for me. But that is all I want to mention in regards to my money tree, which is the plant of the month for May 2022. Let me know down below, my salty peeps, what are your favorite plants for the month of May? Share with me below which plant you really was just so proud to see, so proud to just have in your collection during this month. With that being said, make sure you subscribe to my channel and also hit the notification bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. Also, follow me on my other social media platforms at HauzPlant, HauzPlant. And don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. And I will see you in the next one. Let's get growing. Bye.